Hey guys, just came inside. Look at my Ninja Turtle shirt. Be jealous. Okay, so, I was thinking this week we could talk about Power Ranger villains. Because we are always talking about the good guys, the Power Rangers, and their allies. We never really talk about the villains of Power Rangers. So, I guess with villains, Power Rangers has a whole array. I suppose I do have my own personal list of the best to worst villains, and I normally, suppose I should back up a bit. There are 4 types of villains in Power Rangers. You have your lowest level of villain, which is Foot Soldier. Foot Soldiers, not very smart, generally. Not very talkative. They don't usually say stuff. They all look the same, pretty much. They come in hordes, and they're not really powerful at all. The only advantage they have over the Power Rangers is that they're capable of attacking them in a large group and overnumbering them very fast. Which is pretty much the only advantage they have. They generally don't come back in giant form. I mean, they do in Samurai and Megaforce. But generally they don't come back in giant form a lot. So they don't even have that. So they're like the lowest level of villain. The second level of villain are the MOTWs. MOTWs means Monster of the Week. It's, your casual monster that the Rangers are fighting. These tend to be more powerful because they're an individual monster as opposed to being part of the little foot soldier army. Can be smart depending on the type of monster and the situation. Can be incredibly dense also. Can be incredibly pointless. Can also be incredibly powerful and difficult to beat. It depends on the monster, it depends on the season, and it depends on the moment, it's a real ways, but every monster of the week has a giant form. You don't always see it though, depending on what season you're in. Some monsters, there are some episodes where there is no Megazord fight, and so you wouldn't really see the giant mode of that monster. The next level of monster is Generals. Generals serve right under the main bad guy, who, they're generally pretty intelligent. Generally, there are a few exceptions to this. They're usually really powerful. It's really difficult for the Rangers to defeat them whenever they face them. And normally, Rangers have to face Generals a lot throughout the season, and eventually they find a way to defeat them at the end. Generals don't always have to be, strictly like a general. I would classify Decker in Samurai as a general because he's not the main baddie, but at the same time, he's not a monster of the week because he's too powerful for that. And he doesn't have a second form. So I would have to generalize as a general, even though some generals do have giant forms. And they use it multiple times if you're in Mighty Morphin Rangers. Yeah, generals is another step up. They're just more powerful, harder to defeat. Almost always, they're at least semi-intelligent. Generals sometimes can be smarter than the main villain. I kid you not. And speaking of the main villain, they are the top of the monster hierarchy. Main villains are the most powerful because they're the main bad guy. Generally, I don't think main villains have a giant mode that they ever fight in. I think normally when the Rangers defeat the main villain, there is no Megazord fight that goes along with it. Yeah, well, easy come, easy go, I guess, right? The greatest main villain ever, in my opinion, I suppose if you're going to categorize main villains, there's too many, Foot Soldiers and, Monster of the Weeks, way too many of those, and Generals to, rank them, really. I suppose if you want to rank monsters, you would probably have to go with the main bad guys. With the main villains, I would rank them on a couple of things. 1, their difficulty to defeat. 2, how close they were to succeeding in certain areas. And 3, how generally over-intelligent they are and how is their character handled. The best Power Ranger villain, in my opinion, is Venjix. The main villain. He's a computer virus from RPM. He's really difficult to defeat because he's a computer virus, so even if the Rangers destroy his robot suit that his virus happens to be in, only a small part of that has to survive. Like, they can literally just download him off the monster suit and back into his literally like his mainframe, like where he exists. Because that's literally what he is. He's a computer virus. He was nearly impossible to defeat. And he was very smart. He was very ruthless. He disposed of his generals the minute they stopped being useful. And he was very close to defeating the Rangers. I mean, he killed Jim and Gemma. Spoiler alert. But then they came back to life, so it was okay. He didn't just kill them, though. He, like, deleted them from existence. It was pretty bad. So, yeah. Vengeance. #1 villain in Power Ranger history. Remaining so, as it looks like it right now. The worst villain in Power Ranger history, in my opinion, has to be Prince Vakar from Super Mega Force. Vakar, it's not even that he was a funny villain to watch, because Lothar from Ninja Storm was funny. Lothar was really sarcastic and snarky, and that made him funny. Vakar was funny because he was a complete moron. He knew nothing about how to fight. He was not very powerful. He did not have a single weapon. The Rangers could have defeated him with their ordinary blasters. He was weak, he was stupid, and he was like a whiny brat. Like, he wasn't a real force to be reckoned with. Like, I almost don't even consider him to be the main villain of the show. He's so ridiculous. I could almost consider his father, Emperor Marvro, to be the main villain of Super Mega Force. Like, seriously, he's a complete imbecile. That says a lot as far as Power Ranger villains go. A direct quote from him is, like, who told you could be taller than me? You have a world to defeat, excuse me. Yeah, like, so Vakar, worst Power Ranger villain, got beat out by a computer virus, then again, so did everyone else, because Vengeance was amazing. Great villain. Other notable mentions as far as main villains go, Ransik from Time Force. Ransik is the only Power Ranger villain to ever choose to become good at the end. He chose to stop leading a life of crime and turned himself over to Time Force so that he could do his time as a respectable citizen. And he did it because his daughter asked him to. And that was really great, because everyone's always complaining about how Power Rangers is like, oh, he's gonna solve everything with violence. But in the case of Ransik and Time Force, like, no, they didn't solve it with violence. It was solved with family love. And I think that's nice. So there you have it, a quick rundown of the different types of villains and the best and worst main villains of Power Rangers. Don't know what we'll do next time, but I'm sure it'll be fabulous. Have a great week, and may the power protect you all.